community, mentor, plan. You do that, you have the plan, and that's how you properly set the table. You got the buns, you got that honey butter, you good. Make things much easier for you. And that will allow you the opportunity to really get closer in your 90-day cycle of what you really want.
Welcome to the Contrarian Capitalist Podcast, the ultimate destination for accredited investors and entrepreneurs seeking alternative wealth-building strategies. Discover how to fast-track your journey to wealth and time freedom by thinking outside the box. If you're ready to join the ranks of the Contrarian Capitalists and learn the most effective ways to reach your financial goals faster, you're in the right place. Let's get started with today's episode of the Contrarian Capitalist Podcast.
Thank you once again for listening to another episode of the Contrarian Capitalist Podcast. I'm your host and your favorite silverback, Sylvania Harrod, and this is going to be episode 4 of 90 days to stop sitting on cash and starting building real wealth. And so for today's episode, what I want to tell you is this one I'm going to refer to as setting the table. Setting the table is just like if you had friends and family members coming over. You need to know, are we eating any ice cream? Do I need spoons? Do I need to get bowls? What are we drinking? Like if you go to certain restaurants, like only certain type of spoons touch certain types of food to create the type of experience. So as you've gone through so far, you're going to be in a place where you gotta really start getting into the game. So I told you in the last episode, like there's only so much information you're really going to know. You got to actually start getting on the field. So how do you get on the field, right? And I'm going to use it towards 3 key areas that I typically talk about, which is 1, if you're going to go the path of like investing into a fund, you want to ensure that you just start interviewing GPs. Now, what I will tell you is that I'm not the kind of person that's going to tell you need to interview 100 or a certain subset of number, because I don't know what your trust number is. But you need to start interviewing them so you can understand what the market is going to be able to offer to you. So right now, in certain private debt funds, you can get 10% returns on your money. You're going to look at exactly how long the hold period is going to be. That just means how long your money is going to be there before you can actually pull it back out if you need to. What is the expected return? Now, a lot of times when I'm coaching those that are building these type of funds, what I tell them is please use simple math. I don't need any Scrabble words. I don't need any jargon. I don't need any of that kind of crap. All I want to know is if I give you $1 in 4 years, how much is that dollar going to turn into? And it sounds really good as if I give you $1 and you tell me I'm going to walk away with $2. Because to me, that seems like a definitive plan of how my money is making money. Is that I wanted to have kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, everything. Because that's the whole purpose. If it's sitting in a bank account, there's only so much birth that can happen. I need to be like bunny rabbits, have plenty of babies. Now, that's the basis of it. And then I want to look at kind of what is their investment thesis. And you don't know a good investment thesis till you talk to a couple people. Because in the beginning, it all sounds good. Okay, is this your first time doing this? Is it not? I'm going to develop a list of questions on a different episodes. Well, I'll dive deeper into understanding the 5 Ps of a fund. But for right now, what you really need to understand is start having conversations. Because I can give you a little guidance, but it's not going to make sense until you start having conversations. So the key thing is I was chatting with a friend last week and they asked me, like, I want to get started and learning about being around more people who think about this thing in the entrepreneurial journey. And my suggestion was before you go drop 20 grand or 10 grand and just fly out to a mastermind, it's going to cost you, when you throw in travel and hotels, everything, at least $2,500 a trip. Just go to local chamber of commerce. Go on Facebook. There's Facebook groups for every type of industry you can think of. Go into Reddit forums. Just start talking. For me, I went ahead and I joined 2 masterminds. These are people that I had known over a period of time. I said, I think it was $300 a month. So $300 a month. I'm willing to do that. Where I'm like, okay, if I get 1 nugget over the course of the year, let's look at the math. That's $3,600. If I get 1 nugget that helps me make 10 grand, I got a 3x return on my investment. Because the basis of investing is just math, y'all. It's if I put $1 in, can I get 250 out? Bruh, if I get 250 out, I'm doing it every day and twice on Sunday. Because that means that I am in the green. It's calculated gambling. But I have to gain intel. So when I first started, every day, there's 22 typical working days in a calendar, depending on the month. Every day, that was a working day for an entire month, I spent 1 hour on a call learning about somebody's fund they were looking to invest money into. The level of education I gained after that month was worth the price of admission, because I started hearing the same things over and over again. And what it really came down to is, I'm going to park my money into there. What's the minimum amount I need to park into it? And if I can take 100 grand and stretch it across 4 different places that are going to return me different money, I've now hedged my risks. And that was it. That's how I got started. I just looked at it across the board. Okay, based on the things that I had and different assets, and I can look at a little information. But what I did not do is sit there and spend the next 2 years trying to figure it out. Because the thing that I need to spend most of my time at that moment was at work, because the greatest return on my time was working. I knew where the money was going to come in. So absolute worst case, if one of them craps the bed, I'm still gravy, baby. I can still go through and do what I need to do all day. That's what I mean. We're like, okay, set the table. Get enough information to know what to say yes to, understand your risk profile, and then execute. So the second path, if you decide you wanted to go down and you do business, you want to buy a business, I would suggest start talking to brokers. Start talking to them. Go join different networking associations for the type of industries you think you're going to be interested in. Because, I mean, you can bring AI to any business and be able to increase its efficiencies, y'all. Oh my God. Things that take phone calls to answer and can book meetings and book reservations and order food. AI can do all that right now. So if I can go into any business primarily and be able to cut its costs, which increases profitability. But you don't know what type of business you want to do, because you got to figure out, okay, where do I want to live? All right, if I want to live here, well, I'm moving the family, so I need to find things in a certain locality. How much does it cost? Start talking to lenders, figure how much you need to bring for the down payment. Maybe you hire a group that goes out and sources off-market deals. Maybe I don't want to go through brokers, because a broker's like, who knows? I'm not saying either one's good or bad. It just depends on what you're looking for. Then figure out what's the minimum amount, what's the maximum amount I can be able to afford to buy without having to raise any capital. Do I want to raise capital or not? And then once you go through there, you got to start doing that. Start listening to the podcasts that teach you about ETA, entrepreneurship through acquisition. Guys, it is so much easier to buy something that's already in motion than it is to start from the beginning, unless you have that skill set. If you have that skill set, go for it. But if you don't, get something that you're not going to be stressed the hell out, that you can at least pay yourself a couple $100,000 a year and be good to go. It'll make your life so much easier, and you'll have so much more fun doing it. Get started. What am I telling you? Get in the community. Start networking with people. Understand, because the reality is, I'm going to tell you, the best place in life you can possibly be is when you see things for what they are and not what you fantasize about them being. Every game has the rules that are in the rule book and then the rules that are done on the field. And I'll reference those as the rules of the game, because there's the rule book and then there's how it's actually enforced when you're on the field. And business is a full-time contact sport. So expect to get poked in the eye, kicked in the kidneys, and tripped and pushed, hair scratched, etc. Go figure out, because when you're acquiring a business, please acquire something that you're going to be interested in, because if not, it will turn into a chore and you will be livid as you're sitting there dealing with people that you really don't want to be around. But hey, it gives me a little money. My friends, that's prostitution. And I don't know about you, but that ain't a real fun job to do constantly. So that's it. And then if you're going to go more towards where I say like private lending when it comes to real estate, I will share with you really quickly. Start having discussions. Figure out what type of assets you want to be involved in. You don't really need to know the location. I don't really need to see the properties. Most of the properties I own, I've never been to. And unless I'm in town, I'm not really going to go to. Figure out what you need in those elements. Because what happens is that everything becomes much easier when you already know what you're looking for. And then find somebody who you connect with and just run rec shop there. No matter what, everything in business has its own element of risk. There's no guarantees, y'all. If you're looking for guarantees, good luck. I got two for you. Death and taxes, baby. So if that's the case, and that's what you're looking for, those are the things that I want you to focus on. Is go out, find a community of places that you want to be around based on the desires. What have I told you before? Community, mentor, plan. Community, mentor, plan. You find those things. If you need personal suggestions of who you should look at for those, please reach out to me. If I need to create a list of items of who's who in the zoo, I'm willing to do that, y'all. That's what I'm here for. So, community, mentor, plan. You do that, you have the plan, and that's how you properly set the table. You got the buns, you got that honey butter, you good. Make things much easier for you, and that will allow you the opportunity to really get closer in your 90-day cycle of what you really want. So as always, my friends, stay hungry, stay humble, stay grateful, and until the next episode, cheers.